What's going on, guys? My name is Brent Cromer. I am a business owner, entrepreneur. I like real estate, and I like to get outdoors, hike, hunt, camp, and do all the things, okay? So if you guys are on this channel, there's a good chance that you are also either an entrepreneur or considering starting a business, running a business, optimizing your business, okay? So I give weekly tips on how to do all of the above in a lot of different industries. So I will be honest with you guys. I had this whole podcast kind of scripted out. Like this thought occurred to me this morning. I was on a call with someone. We had a wonderful conversation. This was for land, real estate. And at the end, she had just expressed like how enjoyable the call was, how I was easy to talk to. It had just got me thinking. I didn't have a call right away for once after that call. And I just like sat there and I was like, well, one, that feels nice to hear. Two, why do people say that? Because I do, humbly, I get that a lot. People say that I'm easy to talk to, I seem trustworthy, these types of compliments. And it got me really thinking, like, what is my brand of selling? Why am I able to come off as, say, more trustworthy than someone else? Because while I follow a, I guess, structure for my sales, I don't really follow a script these days. I've been on maybe thousands of sales calls at this point. I don't feel the need to follow a script. I just follow again, a structure. Think of it as like the bumpers while you're bowling. When we think about personal brands, by the way, yes, I had this whole thing scripted and I'm like, this just doesn't, I just want to hop on and talk with you guys about this, to be honest with you. There's two types of brands, maybe more, but two types that come to mind, right? Your personal brand and then your sales brand. Your personal brand is your logo, it's your slogan, it's your company tenets, it's your testimonials and reviews. It's all of these different things that make you a trustworthy company, right? That is Google, that's Trustpilot, Better Business Bureau, Yelp, if you're a brick and mortar. All of these things make you a personal brand, as well as your social media. When you're posting, maybe you're the type that, helps moms do this, or helps SaaS agency owners do this, or this, or this, or this. Or maybe you're the real estate guy that's done 1,000 deals and you've brokered this and that, and you've had all this tremendous success. You've built a personal brand. There's a good chance, or you're in the process of building one. But the sales brand is not what people talk about. In fact, I've been all around the sales industry for a long time now with people all over the world, had some of the best mentorships that money can buy. No one's ever mentioned the concept of sales branding. And so I've just been in like this deep thought. And again, like these thoughts are kind of coming to me as I record this podcast. So it is as organic as possible, but I want you to kind of stop and think. Has there been a moment where you got a nice compliment after a call, whether it be text or at the end of the call, or they bought from you or whatever it is, and they said something nice? Have you ever like sat down and actually thought, why do people buy from me? Why me as opposed to someone else? Maybe it's my personal brand. Maybe it's the branding I do on social media, or maybe it's the way that I carry myself. Maybe the way that I speak. I have been in quite a few interviews for consulting roles with other companies recently as well. And, just coming in to optimize their processes and things like that. I got the same thing. They said they liked the vibe. They liked the way I speak. And I'm like, these are all things that I've never paid attention to until it's become extremely prevalent in the past, I would say the last week or so. I've started to really take notice. What I think it comes down to is how you carry yourself on the call. And so as I sort of reflect how I tend to carry myself on calls, very similar to how I carry myself on here. So if you listen to this, maybe you don't hate my voice. Maybe you don't hate the way that I move around on camera a little bit. Maybe you don't hate the setup that I've got and this stupid little plaque and this fake tree. Maybe you don't hate that. Maybe you kind of dig it, right? So I think office space has something to do with your sales brand. I do. I was training a rep yesterday and I had just kindly let him know, like, hey, I think for your situation, unless we have something, that we can set up in the background, blurring your background may make more sense. Raise your camera so you're eye level, get a better mic, get a better camera, and get a ring light or two, a key light and a fill light. And all of these things make you present more professional. In the online space, this is my suit. This is my Gucci loafers and my tie, okay? This is it. I don't have to actually wear that. I just have to have a nice setup and people take you more serious. If you show up in your pajamas as a C-suite executive, they're not going to take you very serious, right? So this is your suit. So one, your background, your camera, your setup all have a massive impact and set a really, really good, first impression when you get on the call with someone. But then I started thinking, okay, that's cool, except all of the real estate deals that I'm closing, literally multiple per day at this point, getting people under contract and listing their properties. These people have never seen me. We don't talk on Zoom. In fact, I just call them on the phone. So I'm like, well, wait a minute. Yes, that's important, but that doesn't quite hold up. So I started thinking, okay, what are the things that I'm hearing? Well, I'm hearing two things. One, people look into me on Google, and I haven't looked up. Google your name. What comes up? Hopefully your name isn't like Don Smith, because that's hard. Brent Cromer, thankfully. I only share a name with my father, but I have a little bit more SEO with my name, thankfully. Hopefully you've got some that show up for you. Posting consistently on all social medias, news articles, YouTube, LinkedIn, everywhere. So if you search my name, you're going to find me all over the place. That's a good thing. So when people get marketing from me on real estate, they search me up, they find that I have a Google footprint. And what's funny is for real estate, a lot of them actually wind up watching these videos. So if you're watching, hello, looking forward to talking to you. They watch these videos and they align, and then they mention things from these YouTube videos on the calls that I have, which I think is interesting. So the personal brand, yes, that has a massive impact, but then it kind of sets you up for a better sales call as well, where then your sales brand can kind of take over. So the other things that I'm hearing on the calls is that I'm easy to talk to. By the way, don't take this video as like a brag. I'm the best. I'm the best at sales. People love speaking to me and they love my office. No, that's not this. This is more of like coming on to talk to you guys to write this down. Like what about your calls is working for you, and how can you double down on that? So one of the best ways that I start calls is very casual, and I think most people appreciate that. What I don't do is, it's not clunky. I don't set the stage. I don't do anything like that. It's just not my style. I don't say, hey, thank you so much, Sally, for hopping on the call. Looks like we have about 15 minutes here. Is that still good for you? Perfect. And just so you know, this is not a sales call. By the end of this call, I'm going to offer you XYZ solutions. If you blah, 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 blah. That's not it. You know how I start calls? I say, hey, is this Sally? Hey, Brent here with Prime Parcel. How are you? Good, good. And, I just was out walking the dogs. If I sound like I'm out of breath, I am. We have quite a bit of stairs in this house, so please forgive me for that. Haha, we laugh a little bit. I'm like, whereabouts are you in the world? Okay. Do you like it there? I traveled nearby at one point, but I never made it to like that specific city, which usually I have traveled nearby. We'll talk about this. Sometimes we'll talk about politics. Sometimes we'll talk about dog breeds and weather and boats and cars. And then I get into the call. There's a lot of people like the Jeremy Miners that say rapport building is dead. I don't think so. I can attribute, I've made a good amount of money. I make a good amount of money. And I would attribute that to being a personable human, talking to people, not being some too good to small talk business owner, not being someone that can't relate to like people on the calls. Like that's who I am. Very humble upbringings, and I don't want to leave that and be this, I'm only going to talk to you if it's worth my time business owner kind of thing. I think that's very pretentious, very goofy. So I guess if I had to boil this down, I am willing to just have a level conversation with anyone. I can align with anyone on something we have in common. Even if we have entirely different political views, we might both love nature. Even if we both love nature, we might see things entirely different when it comes to this or this, right? And so just being able to be a human, have conversations, not push people into making a decision, let them know that you're on the call to help them make a good decision, no matter what that means. That might mean with you, with someone else. You cannot show your cards that you care, and in reality you really shouldn't care because there's an abundance. Okay, so if I can help you, great. Here's how. It's either with me or with someone else. If I can't help you, I'm sorry that we wasted your time. Seems like I made a mistake somehow. Anyway, it's been a good conversation. Hope you have a good one. So that's kind of what it boils down to, I think, is just not feeling here, talking to my prospects here, meeting them where they are, finding commonalities. Most people have more in common than you think. And if you're willing to explore that, I think people will give you the time of day. So that's my ramble for this week's YouTube video podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it is insightful. I hope it gets you thinking, what's my sales brand? What do people like about how they talk to me? Do I present well? Do I speak well? Do I sound good? I think a mic is a big thing, by the way, too. People give me a little bit of a hard time for the radio DJ voice, but I think it's just the mic. I talk a little slow, and the mic makes me sound like a radio DJ. So I think it's soothing sometimes when people talk to me. So get a nice mic. It might just help you. You know, it's $250. Closed a 10K deal one time. My God, that mic has paid for itself a million times over. So invest in the proper setup. Work on how you speak to people. Be genuinely interested and genuinely want to help them. And I think you'll create a wonderful sales brand. Thankfully, that's something that kind of came organic and I didn't have to put much thought into it. But I think now that I am putting more thought into it, maybe I can refine and become even better at what I do. Anyway, all the best. If you guys ever have any questions, send them in, put them in the comments, like, share, do the subscribe thing. Obviously, putting out these YouTube videos is fun. I enjoy it. I hope it helps you guys. If it does help you, throw that down there too. That makes me feel good. Makes me feel like the time I'm spending is well spent. Thanks.